Yeah, awesome. Thank you for being here. I'm happy to see you all. We went this season, just so you know, once every 4 years you can take an international trip. So we took that trip this year. So in May, the players reported back. Typically, they have the month of May off. So May, they reported back. We trained for 10 days, and then we went to Europe for 10 days, which was unbelievable. So we don't have the opportunity as volleyball coaches to work with them over the summer. So it's a major, I mean, we basically had a month that we were able to practice, train, and do all of that we don't have. They would be here in the summer on their own doing the lifting, workouts, and all of that, but no volleyball. It would all be run by them. So that was absolutely tremendous. I think timing of it for just momentum of Big 12 being together. We have so many new faces. That integration of having that in May together with coaches instead of waiting until they get to see us August 7th was a really big advantage for us. So, you know, and just the hype going into the Big 12 season. So we've incorporated a lot of new people. We open this weekend as a special win for us because we honor one of our former Bearcats who passed away just a couple months actually after having a baby. So she played here and also coached here for a little bit with Stephanie Meinig-Rossfeld and some ties into our community with Doug, who coached here as well, played football here, coached here, was her husband at the time, and then now is down with the Bengals. So it's a really special tournament for us. And to be opening up at home and with our crosstown rival, I think is a fun way to kind of kick off this inaugural season. So we're looking forward to it. I know the players are super excited, and I'm here to offer whatever I can to you, a little bit of insight on the players and the team.
What was the competition like in Europe?
Unbelievable. So it's, you know, when we went over, we said, hey, our number one goal is to get better. We have to get better. We're going to become a team, and then obviously we'll have some fun. And the fun part was no doubt there, but we played the Hungarian national team, their senior national team when we got there. All significantly older than us, but more on the younger age. So they were early to mid-20s. There were a couple 30-year-olds there. And then we played in Slovenia, their second top club in the country, which was phenomenal matches for us. And then we played in Italy. We played the Italians, who are all making significantly high dollars in volleyball. I mean, they have real careers in volleyball. They were unbelievable to play, and we were at their national training facility in Milan, which was just beautiful, and playing against that level. And we got to play them twice, so I think that experience was awesome. I think the volleyball part, and it's tough, you know, you're playing with a different volleyball, you're playing a different style, so all of those things throw you off. You have people speaking different languages on the other side of the net, but the competition was, I could not have scripted a better lineup for us. It was awesome.
We've talked earlier in the summer, obviously.
Yeah.
You mentioned August 7th was the first time you could see this team in the gym. Talk about what that has been like there the last 2 weeks and what should people be expecting come Friday night.
Yeah, I think the hardest part is coaches, you know, they leave us after the semester's break and that's it. I mean, it's almost the opposite, like your kids leaving the house or going away. You're just kind of sitting around waiting for them to come back. And so it's always this extra energy when they come back. And the good part is we had some things scripted. When we left Europe, it was, hey, here's the stuff that we know we have to get better at. So now it's kind of on you over the summer to work on those things. And then when we get back into the gym, there's an expectation, what's been accomplished, what hasn't. I think, you know, we have so many people returning because we were so young last year, but we've added in some transfers as well that give us some age. So I think it's really interesting. We have 3 super seniors, we call them, right, 5th years, and our next class are juniors. So we don't have any true seniors there. So I'd say we're still a little bit right on the young side, but we have some older players that are coming in and really giving us some depth and some perspective, you know, totally different perspective when you're in your 5th year. I think any coach across any sport would say that. The have that extra year is it's really a game changer at this age.
You mentioned the transfers as well,
Mm-hmm.
Carly, Jaden, and one more, I'm forgetting the name off the top of my head here.
And Caitlin will be new to us. Yeah.
Just talk about what they mean to this program and what have you seen from them?
Yeah, Caitlin comes in as a junior and just a really physical athlete, offensive, strong. I think just her presence on the court, and even for her height and strength, she has really quick feet. That's something that we look at in setters. She can get to the ball pretty quickly. She's pretty mobile for her size. Puts up a really nice block. So I think just her presence on the court, her leadership has been fantastic, right? That's our quarterback of the team. And I think her leadership has really developed since she came in the spring. We got her an extra semester. She transferred at semester. So that was tremendous. You know, Carly Scrauback comes to us from Marquette, excelled at an extremely high level there. And just her, I kind of describe her, she's almost like gymnast-like on the court, just super athletic, but light on her feet. And she can make moves to the floor. She's graceful. She's composed. She touches everything in her area. It's really, really impressive to watch her play. And she's one of those players, she's going to make some great plays, but if she's doing her job, right, that position doesn't get noticed as much. But I think if you know that about her and you can kind of hone in and watch that, she is just a tremendous athlete. I mean, really tremendous. And then Jaden Boss that you mentioned is a little bit of a unique situation because we played against her for the 4 years of her career at SMU. So as soon as we saw her jump on the portal, it was a no-brainer for us. Just, I think as an outside, she's not overly tall, but she's so long in her reach and just how her vision and how she sees the block, her ability to decision make in the moment and her ball control is phenomenal. And I think, when you go into that fifth year, I think of Jordan too in her fifth year. If Jordan would have ended at her senior year, we wouldn't have seen, right? We never would have gotten to see everything that Jordan did in her fifth year. It's just that natural maturation process and really knowing what's expected of you, being there and done it so many times. That's the level that those two transfers bring in. They have experience, and that's the one thing as coaches we can't teach experience.
You used the phrase building momentum as you get to the Big 12. As a coach, you're now on the doorstep of this happening. Is it exciting? Is it intimidating? Is it stressful? What's the feeling like as a coach getting a program ready to make the jump you're about to make here?
Yeah, yes, really exciting. And you kind of feel like finally we're there, that we could only do so much, as far as scheduling with our non-conference pieces to mimic what that next level looks like, of getting that all the time. And I think that's one thing people would say about me, hey, she schedules really hard non-conference. Yeah, well, if you want to be at that level, you have to play that level. And we've scheduled that way non-conference. Now can we take those matches that we've had in the past, and you have to do that over a long period of time. So now you're talking 18 matches over a conference season, but hell yeah, we are excited. I mean, there is no question about that. And the level of the volleyball of Big 12, there's two different, actually probably I would say even three pieces. The level of volleyball, right, the number one RPI ranked volleyball conference in the country, Big 12, they have the national, right, last year's the national championship was Texas. The volleyball is tremendous. 2 years ago, it was 9 of the 11 got in, I believe, and then it was 7 of the 9, then 5 of the 9 that got into the NCAA tournament. I mean, it's a whole different ball game. You just have to be right in the mix of everything, right? And your goal is to get to the dance. You have to get to that tournament. So I think it opens up so many doors. The coaches, unbelievable, and I think the value that the conference puts on the sport is tremendous. It is an important sport. You wouldn't have a national championship team out of it if it wasn't important.
Have you found yourself, because look, everybody when they think Big 12, they think, oh, look at the football. Oh, here comes the basketball too.
Yeah.
Have you found yourself having conversations with people and saying, wait until you see the volleyball
Yes.
because this is different?
I have a great story for you. This has been a few months ago, and the conversation went down the road of like, oh, well, you know what? Basketball's going to have to play Kansas. I went, guess what? We have to play Kansas. They were just in a Final Four 6 years ago. So it is matchup for matchup. Like, who do you mark off as like, okay, we know we can get this one. All right, you're going in a battle every single time. So just try to break 500, and then you're in a really great spot. Yeah, 100%. Baylor Final Four. Actually, they were in a Final Four the same year that we went to the Sweet 16. Their outside got Player of the Year that I think probably was challenged right there with Jordan Thompson for a Player of the Year candidate. Texas, obviously. I mean, you can go down the list. But, yeah, I'm glad you asked that because it just reminded me of that story. Basketball has to play Kansas. Whoa. Well.
How do you replicate those venues if you'll be going to the Big 12 venues?
Yeah. Well, this is one thing, and this is a good story. about Jaden and really a lot of people that cross their path. I would say our venue is actually some of the favorites, like our opponents' favorites out there to play in. So when Jaden came on her visit, her dad was with her and said, hey, what's your favorite place to play? In our previous conference, we got in a conversation. I asked her, I said, what's your favorite place to play? She said, well, I have to admit, she hadn't committed yet. She said, it's Cincinnati. I just love the atmosphere here. Whatever it is, I love it. And we've seen some social media accounts of some regional teams that are in Power 5 conferences where they've put out, hey, outside of your own venue, what's your favorite place to play? And other schools have put out there, Cincinnati, love playing here. So I think our venue, as far as bringing the energy, the look, the feel, will be fantastic. But I think, you're going into a conference, like I said, the conference values volleyball. We're going into packed houses, where volleyball is part of the culture for these schools. And so just the noise, the loudness, when we played at BYU last year, that was one of the things that we had talked about is, wow, you have to get used to, you're standing 5 feet from your teammate. You can't even hear yourself talk. So you're hoping she's reading her lips. So I think that energy and excitement and the buy-in from the fans of coming out and to support their team is going to be, that will probably be one of the biggest things that we have to prepare for.
We talked about the transfer class as well. You have the top 25 recruiting class, top 25 recruiting
Yep.
class here in the country. What has been your message to them heading into their first game week?
Yeah, I think, with the freshmen, I think it's always just confidence building. It's a total adjustment. Everything's coming at once, right? Like, you're at college for the first time ever. You're away from home probably the first time ever. You're cooking your own meals on your own for the first time ever. So to me, it's not necessarily a pressure thing. It's more of a preparation. So getting them the reps, making sure the full buy-in with the team. I think our upperclassmen are tremendous at, not coddling, but corralling. Hey, this is how we do things. This is how we're going to prepare, and they feel a part of it. So I think that's a big piece to it, and from there it's on them to kind of navigate and figure out how to make it through a season. But they'll be great. And you're right, number 21 recruiting class in the country. And our highest recruit out of Zeta, Washington, she was the number 31 overall recruit in the country of all volleyball. So I think that's pretty impressive.
I know the
She's
volleyball
awesome.
fairly well, and you Stephanie a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that something, I think their son is senior at Boulder now, I believe, junior or senior. Do you have to educate the kids and kind of tell them the story to get them up for that tournament?
Definitely. And I'm really glad you asked that too, because I had to, I didn't really know. I think it had kind of been separated far enough too once I got here as a coach. So Doug and I had kind of connected over the years after I had been here for several years and got to talking. And he really shared some stories with me. Jill Evans, who is a tremendous alumni and supporter of the program, was really close with Stephanie and had a group of friends that were really close. So over the last several years, her and I have gotten into some really in-depth conversations. So I think educating myself on who Stephanie was, what she means to people, talked to her, their former coach, Laura Alford, that was here at the time. And what I've done with the players, and we do this kind of going into this weekend, talking about her, what it is that she means, how her teammates thought about her, but I'll read those emails to them. Hey, this is what Stephanie's teammates said about her. Here's an email. And last year we went around and each player read a little something. And I think there's something about connecting to your program and the history and playing for those that came before you. When you have that connection and you're rooted in, you're playing for something bigger than just yourself, or like bigger than just that moment in time. We try to get our players to think a lot outside of, today is today, and they have their blinders on, and that's how we live. Like, hey, there's some things out there that are bigger than us and what we're doing. So yeah, we do spend a lot of time talking about Stephanie and what she meant to the program. And really, it's the whole purpose of the tournament to keep her, just to keep her alive in it, and how much she loved UC. That's the biggest thing I hear from everyone that I talk to that talks about her, is that she was Bearcat Steph. That's what her coach called her, Bearcat Steph. And the love that she had for this school, this university, and specifically for the volleyball program, that's the first thing that everyone mentions, and then just her lovable personality. Yep. Yep.
Just overall, big picture, how are you feeling about your team's progress so far? Like 3 years away, do you think your team's ready for their?
Yeah, I think so, right? I wish I could get out on the court and play with them, but I do. I think they're ready, and these first 4 weeks of non-conference give us that snapshot. You go after this weekend, you evaluate, hey, what do we need to bring to the following weekend play. So we have 4 weeks to really. You can't become a team on day one, right? It's this slow progress that you hope that you keep hitting this stride, and even by mid-October that you're really starting to hit this peak and that you're going up. So I think we'll learn a lot about ourselves this weekend. You feel like you know a lot, but you're also with the same people in the gym 24/7. So when you actually get to go out as one full front, all 17 players, coaches together, now you get to take all of that to somebody else. What does that look like? I think that's what's most exciting for this weekend. We finally get to stop beating up on each other and put it out on somebody else.